And welcome back to a show about shows where we're in the bunker in the studios of the Dizzle studio apartment area where we're episode 41, the self-distancing episode. Listen to that. There are people shooting at us.
That was a virus.
It's pandemonium here at the bunker. It's serious business. We're going to discuss numerous films. We're going to go hunting. There's going to be some bloodshots. We're going to be parts that are going to be so lost. We're going to say something about Patrick's Day, St. Patrick's Day crawlers, some more Kimbos with guns. And don't forget, we're going to go a little bit of confidential with some Spencers. But I got to tell you, Jordan, I just want to say congratulations to you, sir, because you put on a fantastic show just recently during this health scare.
What did I do?
You did a great show down at the Comic-Con. They went on. You guys were out there. You did a great performance. I'm just so happy for you. You guys got to at least go on where everything else was being canceled in this world.
Yeah, believe me, I checked every day with the promoter and of the venue going, we're still good. Friday, Saturday, we're still good. Sunday morning, we're still good. Yeah. So, congrats to the RPW Real Pro Wrestling staff, roster, fans that came out for the Chaos of the Con. We'll actually be back in November. It was a success, even despite fighting a pandemic a little bit. So, had a really fun show. Sadly, might be the last show for a while. We're at some crazy fluxing times, as you will. Yeah. Theaters are closed.
Yes. So we're gonna have to.
Dizzle's in a bubble right now. Oh no, he's here.
No, Dizzle's here tonight. There he is on the big cam, and there I am.
I
right
think
there.
you're in the shop and you're in the bubble. There
Yeah, he's in the shot. I'm in the
now
shot.
He is.
We're all in the shot, except for you there, Jordan.
He wasn't.
But let me just say,
I can see the shot on you.
I can see his camera from here.
He's not in the shot.
He looked like his legs were anyway. His legs.
Oh, fine. His okay.
His legs were
Get to the shot. I quit. 41 and it's done.
41 and we're done. No. I am just. I got to tell you right now. I know we're going to get more in lively in a second, but I just want to say I hope you all are doing the safe thing, staying hunkered down where you need to be hunkered down.
I can't. I have to work.
Well, I have to work. We're essential personnel.
I was given more hours.
We are essential personnel, so we have
I don't want to be.
But I got to say though, as long
Dutch Dizzle.
as long as we're all safe, as long as we do what we're told, and again, I don't know who you want to listen to, but again, get at least 3 good sources before you start preaching.
Not Trump.
But absolutely, because he's anytime he's still out there. He's still a bullet of non-wisdom.
Yeah, we went political.
But I am just right now. I'm wishing everyone a very safe time and be smart. Don't go out to the beaches. Don't go out to they can't go to the theater anymore, and closing malls and.
So this show's sad
The
about.
only place you need to be is at home watching a show about shows.
Absolutely, and watching
Stay
all
safe.
41 episodes. I think we've lost one, so 40 episodes.
No, there's not several at the beginning. You
Yeah.
can watch roughly about 30.
Yeah, you can watch most of the stuff.
The rest will be on the Patreon one day.
Yeah, and those are the lost episodes. So those will be on the limited edition, Patreon edition episodes. But yeah, I am. Anyway, let's just. I'm gonna get this. Hold on. Okay, I'm getting better. Jordan. Let me tell you something, brother. I'm excited. We got a lot of movies tonight. A lot of them. And some of them are actually in theater.
It's definitely the last theater review for a while.
It's the last theater. We actually jumped into theater. We got at least a handful. Now we got VOD we're going to go with. I got some on deck. I haven't watched as many as you have because I'm trying to pace it because I don't know when these theaters are going to be up and running again. But you could get a lot new ones on VOD, and you could get a lot of other things going on. But right now, the first film we're going to discuss, sir, and it's down your pike, if you can, we're going to discuss The Hunt. The Hunt is the movie, and we're going to discuss it. 12 strangers wake up in a clearing. They don't know where they are or how they got there. They don't know how they've been chosen for they don't know they've been chosen for a very specific reason. The Hunt stars Betty Gilpin, who does wonders in this movie, Hilary Swank, Glenn Howerton, Ike Barinholtz, Ethan Suplee, Amy Madigan, Justin Hartley, Emma Roberts, Wayne Duvall, and Reed Birney. And start it off for me, Jordan. Tell me what you thought, because we both didn't see this in the theater together. We weren't being separate. We just didn't watch it together because you just watched it without me.
Well, first of all, I was very sad when I found out you saw this without me. Luckily, I did the same thing
The day before.
It washed the lie washed over. The cheating on each other washed right over.
Yeah, we forgave each other.
You
right
saw it
away.
without me? I did the same thing 2 nights ago. All right.
Oh, yeah, we're fine. We're good.
So The Hunt, one of the most controversial movies of all time. No, it's really not. Unfortunately, due to whatever kind of political beef, this thing was supposed to come out in September. Instead, it came out now, and it's going to be on VOD. Is it VOD this week?
The
Tomorrow?
VOD came out today, Friday.
So,
we're recording this on Friday, March 20th. So it just came out on VOD for $20.
I remember even my brother said his plan was to see it this weekend. Well, now we can watch it at home.
Yeah, for $20.
Yeah, which is not bad if you're going to see it with other people. You know,
it's like two $10 tickets.
Yeah, there you go.
Good for the family.
More than 10 usually where I'm coming from.
Yeah,
so The Hunt. I kind of knew what we were getting into even from the first trailer back in the day. You know what I mean? It's an R-rated. People getting picked off, 2 groups. I had enough fun with it. I really like Betty Gilpin, the star from Glow.
Yeah, fantastic.
And Stuber as well, and I thought she did really good here. You can tell from the beginning that she's a little more careful than the rest of the other people that get picked off here. A couple surprises too, the way things unravel with who gets picked off, when and where. A couple that were kind of ruined from the trailer, as always.
Always.
There's a character where I was like, oh, it literally happened exactly how the trailer showed. I thought there'd be more to it. There's not. Hilary Swank is fun in this as well, not in it much.
No.
And I almost wondered too, like the way they hit her throughout the first half, I almost felt like, was she supposed to be a surprise? But then they showed her in the trailer, so I don't know if they reneged on that or what.
Well, they showed her in the first trailer too, though. I think.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But the way they shot it, like her first 2 scenes, it's very much like a revelation when you see her. But if you've seen the trailer, you know already. It kills kind of the it's Hilary Swank moment.
It was another Blumhouse production along with Universal.
So, it is Blumhouse again, which makes sense here.
And it's going to make, it made probably enough money when it was out in the theaters just to cover the base salaries. Because most of these are $7 million films. I think they just keep clunking out. And this one, they actually had some help with Universal this time. So, but no, I found this movie enthralling. It was fun. I had a great crowd with me, watching it. Not with me personally, but in front of me. And they were enjoying this film for what it was. It was a B spoof type film that is just not taking itself too seriously throughout the whole genre, and it's just so much fun. There's not as much blood as you think there would be. Just a lot of hey, he died awfully, that type of deal. But it's just fun, just really mindless violence, which sometimes is a good thing to have in a time of panic. Because sometimes I do like watching
mindless violence, good in a panic.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me. It kind of reminded me of the whenever they relaunched Rambo, not the last Rambo, but the one before the last Rambo. It was just Rambo. It was just a lot of violence, and it kind of made me kind of happy, I guess, inside. But because sometimes a good violent movie is all you need, and this was kind of like a good, smart, violent movie. And the fight scene between Gilpin and Swank at the end is a great, fun.
That one I like is
fun.
That's something that's disappointed me in some recent movies that I've reviewed on here. Is I'm like, you get to the finale and it's a little bit of a whimper. This had a good finale.
Yeah, and I just thought of the great fight scene. There were some funny moments in that, because it'd be like how I would probably be fighting with you, Jordan, or you, Ryan. How we would just be fighting, and there'd be something that took place, and be like, just wait a minute, and I'm not ruining anything when I say that, but it's just a fun time. I enjoyed it a lot. I don't even remember what I rated. I don't even know what I rated this film.
I enjoyed Glenn Howerton too. He plays a tremendous douchebag from It's Always Sunny. Dennis.
Yes.
He's great in this, wearing the kimono at one point. My only little fault with it too is that I just kind of felt like the fun is definitely there, but then when you really come to a reason as to why this is happening, and even like the conclusion of why Swank started this, I just felt like it kind of faltered a little bit there. I had fun, but I'm only going to give it 3.
You know what? I'm going higher a little bit because I really did have fun with this movie, and maybe it was the crowd that helps a little bit. It's always the crowd that helps.
Maybe because I feel like I was the opposite. I think I was at a very small afternoon setting where maybe a couple other people.
Late afternoon, about 4:50 or something like that. But I had like
I think we went to the same showing.
Yeah.
Were you in the same row?
Yeah. And I'll give it 3.5 snowflakes because like I said, I enjoyed it. The characters were kooky. Everything about it was fun. From start to finish.
My favorite part was probably the the gas shop owners, Amy Madigan and Reed Birney.
Oh, I know.
I enjoyed them. They have a nice little monologue and fun moment.
You know, it's the white people. It's white people who do all this. You know, it's crazy.
Bad crackers. So coming up next, speaking of blood, how about some Bloodshot for you?
Oh yeah.
Get ready for this premise. The premise is better than the movie. After he and his wife are murdered, Marine Ray Garrison is resurrected by a team of scientists enhanced with nanotechnology. He becomes a superhuman biotech killing machine. Gotta hate when you do that while I'm reading. As Ray first trains with fellow super soldiers, he remembers the man that killed both him and his wife, and he breaks out of the facility to get revenge, only to discover that there's more to conspiracy than he thought. He got me off on a bad track.
So who in this movie? Who in it?
Who in it? How about Vin Diesel?
Oh yeah.
Isa Gonzalez, who just talked about how she was up for Catwoman, we didn't get it.
Yeah.
Guy Pearce, Lamorne Morris, Toby Kebbell, and Johansson, I believe is how you say it. Yeah, man. I watched that trailer and I kind of nothinged it, and then I saw this movie and I kind of nothing it. I don't hate it.
But you were looking forward to this more than I was.
I was looking forward to it just because I like the Bloodshot character.
Yeah.
It's been a little while since I feel like we've seen Diesel in a movie outside of Fast, if I'm not wrong.
Or he wasn't saying 2 words. I'm Groot.
But this just feels like another failed attempt at another franchise, like Last Witch Hunter, which may or may not come back. I don't know. Yeah. But again, this just kind of felt like another. It's just so by the numbers. I just didn't care about this character. I didn't care about any of the villains. Guy Pearce, who can be a great villain or great anything, even him.
He was a laissez type of
villain. Just when you have nothing much to work with, that's the problem. You know what I mean? So I just it's okay.
It's
if it's on VOD, it's not worth $20. But when it's on a normal rental,
yeah, I'll agree with you on part here. There was who played and you can help me out. The other the crafty guy, the one on the
Lamorne Morris from New Girl.
Okay, yeah. Now I enjoyed. His character.
He works with probably because it's a fun character, more witty dialogue.
Yeah.
He has the most, I think, to kind of work with it, and he works with it.
And he brings charisma to the role where everyone else kind of lays flat. But like you say, Guy Pearce would be a good villain if they gave him a little bit more to do instead of just sitting there giving orders. To me, that's not a good villain. I'm going to give you. You're going to do this. Okay, you're going to do that. Okay, you're going to do this, or I'm going to kill you. Oh, okay, don't do it. That's how it feels to me. Isa Gonzalez, I want to see more of her on screen. She's just a great talent. I can see, she's beautiful too. I'll give you that. But she's also a good talent, and you can see she wanted to do a little bit more in this acting role, but I don't think they had much for her in it. I'm with you though. The previews kind of looked. The movie suffered a lot through it. There was only 5 people because we were close to the time where the theaters were all going to be shut down anyway. But yeah, even if they go on VOD, I don't think they can make their money back.
Was this our last?
This was our last film.
Oh
together.
God. If this turns into a zombie virus and this is our last movie ever, I'm gonna be pretty sad.
Well, you covered it up with about 15 others that are coming up. So
last theater movie.
Yeah, the last theater movie, I will break into it and run something just to cleanse my palate. But yeah, I will break in.
Put something on the screen.
Yeah, I'll just digitally put something up. Why not? No, I didn't enjoy it, but I could maybe a sequel would be better. Maybe they did everything they could in the first part. Now we can go through the second part and be okay. I would be fine with that.
Me too. Different writers, different actor, absolutely.
Yeah, no. I'm thinking a sequel would be better than the first. So I'm going to give it a good 2.5, easily.
Second review where I'm dropping half a point for you. I'm giving it 2. I can't give it much more. 2.5. I'm definitely not going to argue with. But
I would watch a sequel. I can't tell you.
This is a twofer.
Would you not watch the sequel?
I mean, sure. I'm not even necessarily totally damning this. So yeah, sure. I mean, I would watch a Hellboy sequel, and I didn't like that movie much either. So
and I like that.
Oh yeah, you were the guy that liked it. That's right. I forgot.
I was the only one who liked it. It seemed. I think I gave it 3.5. I gave it 3.5,
and which should have been on the Blu-ray because no one else did.
Yeah, we should have had show about shows. I give it 3.5. We should have had the poster.
You know what? I look up to you as like an older brother. So let's talk about adolescence.
Oh, thank you. I do. It's. This film is a suburban teenager comes to age under the destructive guidance of his best friend, an aimless college dropout. This stars Griffin. Was it Griffin?
Griffin.
Griffin. Okay, you had the R in the wrong spot, but that's all right. Oops. Griffin Gluck Pete Davidson, John Cryer, Colson Baker, and Emily Arlook. This is exclusively streaming on Hulu, I know. I was going to watch it, but then I thought, I have to save some for now, and I will be watching more. I got 4 on dock. There's a few others that I have coming up, but I just didn't want to watch them all at one time because, like I said, we're in a theater drought, so I really need to watch this. But you watch it. Tell me how it is because it looks good.
I enjoyed this one here. Griffin Clough from American Vandal and Pete Davidson. That's one of the things that very much intrigued me. Is that I like Pete Davidson kind of as a person, as a stand-up comic, and I want to see him in a larger role. And well, I think this is very much in his wheelhouse. He definitely nails it here for him. I don't know if he was written with this in mind or not. Who knows? But I thought it was a really fun film. Some fun moments here. Colson Baker is Machine Gun Kelly. He's one of the friends here. Not much of a story here. He's just a friend that's there. And in fact, I even remember the movie ended. I was like, oh, there really was no story with
the
him.
The blonde kid in the trailers? Or?
The blonde friend, yeah. That's who you're thinking of.
Him more in the trailer than I probably.
That's probably all his scenes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And again, he's not bad, but I just remember thinking like, we never got a finale with this character, but you didn't really need one because he's just a buddy that's around.
Oh, okay.
But I enjoy the relationship between these two. Pete Davidson is dating his older sister. She breaks up with him, and the kid's like, "Want to still hang out?" And he goes, "All right, let's go," and he just never leaves. And good come of stories of how Gluck has kind of a future, and his dad, John Cryer, fun seeing him actually pop up in this as the dad. He's still Lex Luthor bald, and yeah, I like this, man. That it was a sweet story. Well acted, and I think it's a good film. It's actually why I re-upped my Hulu. I didn't have Hulu, but I wanted to see this Pete Davidson movie, so I re-upped it for that. And a really crappy horror movie I'll talk about here in a second.
Okay, so yeah, I haven't seen this. I want to see it. So how many snowflakes do you give this?
It's not groundbreaking. It didn't. I remember not laughing out loud too much. Kind of a lot of smiles and chuckles. I'm gonna go 3.5 though.
Well,
I enjoyed it.
That's decent. Because
we're checking out.
I look at it this way: if it's a coming of age story, they're not going to always be guffaw. They will have a lot of chuckles. There'll be a lot of stuff where you can say, you know what, I can identify with that character. And you probably felt like that sometimes in this film. I don't know. But I like to find a good film like that. And if it's 3.5, I will still continue to watch it.
Okay, I think it's worth watching. Good Hulu afternoon movie night.
Once I get across it. What movie we got up next?
We got The Part You Lose. An unlikely friendship unfolds between a young deaf boy, Wesley, and a fugitive criminal who takes refuge in an abandoned barn on the family's rural farm. This stars Aaron Paul, Danny Murphy, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and Scott McNairy.
Where did you find this movie?
I looked at it. It is a recent movie. This thing just popped out, I think, October.
Where at?
And it's on demand, Xfinity.
Oh,
I saw it. I saw Aaron Paul holding a gun. I clicked it, and I went, oh, him. Winstead, who I think has had some good kick-ass moments this year from Birds of Prey and Gemini Man. Say what you will about the films. I thought she did really well in them. Yeah. And Scott McNairy, another great character actor who you've seen in a bunch of things. Monsters, Argo, even Batman v Superman. So I clicked for the cast here, and this is unfortunately, I think there's a reason why you haven't heard of this movie. It's well acted, it's well intended, it's got a decent premise, albeit one that we've seen and heard before about bonding of his dad's kind of McNairy's kind of iffy, maybe a little abusive, and he bonds with Aaron Paul, who maybe he's also a bad guy on the run, and he sees him bloody in the street one day, and he finds him again and shelters him, and unfortunately, I just felt like the script just never got to that next level. You don't really learn enough about really anyone here. Mary Elizabeth Winstead is unfortunately just the mom. She's there. Maybe she knows the dad's beating him. I don't know, because she's just kind of there. And then in the end, there's like one quick scene where they hug. And that was the thing. All the finalities of what you're building to, they just didn't really quite earn it. Even in the relationship between him and the kid, there's a couple of nice moments, but they didn't completely earn it and really, get to that next level. I just kind of...
It's like they were trying to craft a good scene. They just kind of took the cheater way out at the end. They didn't want to develop any further.
That's what I mean. Yeah, there's just not enough really on focusing on any one relationship to where all three relationships just feel incomplete to me anyway.
I understand movies like that are just, they throw characters together and they hope they mesh and the audience accepts the way it goes. And I don't like that. I do like the idea of character building, and and you have to earn the trust. A bad guy a deaf boy who knows how this kid.
Well, I liked him the most. I think he obviously, because you spend majority of the movie with him, the young kid.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Danny
saying.
Murphy, I think I said.
Yeah, but if you
Had the best art, obviously, and the most complete.
I know, yeah, but if you're going to try to develop, it's almost like what was it? Was it Perfect World with Kevin Costner and somebody where he was on the road?
Sounds like a movie.
I think it was when he was like a convict or something like that, and it was him, and I can't remember the boy's name. I'd have been Elijah Wood. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But to me, that's where you have those type of developments happen, and they kind of grew, and then you had the other part where you had the sheriff chasing them, and they had that part, and so I'm looking at that movie, so it doesn't follow through. Then it seems, with development,
it just leaves you a little bit of a whimper, even at the end here, where they're having that final moment between him and the kid. There's no, I won't say what happens, but that last moment between them, you're just like, oh, it doesn't hit you as well as you can tell they want it to hit you,
Yeah.
At the end of the day, though, I'm gonna say I'm deciding if I want to give that extra little bit of a half star or not. But unfortunately, because there's even some other scenes that kind of bothered me in the classroom and stuff, to where I'm gonna give it a 2.
Oh, okay. And by the way, it was A Perfect World, and Kevin Costner.
That's why you're distracted. I'm like, what are you looking over there?
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure. So it was with A Perfect World, and it was and the sheriff was what's his name? Clint Eastwood, and T.J. Lowther was the boy. It was not Elijah Wood. So, but yeah, watch that movie. That's fantastic. That's to me one of those. We'll talk about those movies in the future.
I might have time to watch it.
Yeah, we'll have time. It's an older one.
Okay, I'm gonna watch all the Leprechaun movies. I'll let you know about it.
I've seen them all, unfortunately.
Oh God.
Jennifer Aniston's the first one. So,
Breakout role.
by the way, this movie coming up is called Crawlers. Is it Crawlers on St. Patrick's Day?
No.
Is that the name of the movie? Was it called
No.
Crawlers?
Scrollers.
Oh, okay. Well, I did see this. It's on Hulu. This is an exclusive to Hulu. It's maybe
I see.
another Blum film, I believe. Blumhouse.
I'll explain that in a second.
But they do partnerships, I think. But I did want to watch this, so I can't wait to hear your review on this. You may shit on it, but I really think it's going to be a bad B film, and I'm really wanting to watch it. So on St. Patrick's Day, a night of wild parties and drunken revelry, follow 3 unlikely friends who band together to save a college town from a vicious a vicious horde. I was about to say vicious whore. She's charging too much, people. A vicious horde of body switching aliens, starring Drew Demorst, Cameron Fuller, and Pepe Sanuga.
I laughed more just now at that mess up than I did this entire movie.
That whore is charging too much. We got to band together.
Can we do that new Visa split? Can you guys got Visa? So every month for like the last year, I don't know how long they're going to keep going with this. There's a new Blumhouse horror movie on Hulu, and they usually have something to do with a holiday from that month. So this time, St. Patrick's Day. That's why it's called Crawlers. They're pub crawlers. Get it?
Okay.
Ah,
Yeah, I got you.
Because I remember somebody questioning as to why it's called Crawlers. There's nothing that
Well,
crawls.
I had a feeling, but I knew what it meant. But
Pub
I just
crawlers, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just said that because I did hear someone get confused as to why they called it that, because he thought they were going to be like
Like
crawling
creepy
things.
people, yeah.
But my God, I've seen a handful of these. I haven't seen them all. I've seen a handful. I've enjoyed a couple. Nothing has ever been more than like 3 stars probably for me.
Yeah.
But there's been a couple 3 stars, and there's been a couple like 1.5. This is in that latter category, and it's probably the most boring of them all too.
Really? It looked to me, the previews made it look like,
And
it
the
was-
poster's really sweet too.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to rain on your parade. Definitely see it.
I'm
Let
gonna
me
watch
know.
it. I will watch
Yeah,
it.
I would love to see.
I got time.
Your review. You got time. You got time. Like I said, I renewed Hulu, so I watched Pete Davidson. Then probably not too long after, I threw this on there, and because again, just all right premise. Dank poster. Just it's B-level acting too.
that's what I want to watch it for. It looks so bad that it looks
man.
so good.
But then you got to do something at least like. If you're gonna be B, go really B with it. Like have some great like bad dialogue. Like this is just it's boring for the first half of it. You can tell there's really no budget as far
Well,
as
when they
gore
glow the
wise.
eyes, I'm sorry, glowing eyes
Uh-huh.
to me shows that has no budget. And I was sitting there like, Oh, I gotta watch this because if the glowing eyes is what you're looking at as your bad guy, I'm in. I mean, because it's just the cheapest way to do this, and I don't know. I think this might be my wheelhouse. This one right here. I hate horror films. You know that.
I know, that's why I was so surprised to hear you say you want to see this,
one,
because
I really
I
have
can
on my
recommend
list.
better movies horror wise.
I have this on my list, and I'm like, I love B crappy films.
Took me a year to get him to see Get Out.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, he's like, Crawler? Sure, top of the queue.
Top of the queue. It's top of the queue for you, buddy.
Well, it's also top of the 1.5 stars. So
Yeah, I love
yeah,
Get
we
Out.
finally saw it 5 years
I finally
later.
saw it after about a year after it'd been out, but I did watch it before the Academy Awards that year. But yeah, I did. I enjoyed it.
Ryan Oscars.
It takes a lot to take me to one of those movies, but this one is at my house and it looks so easy to watch. So the next one we did cover before, but you're going to cover it.
My turn to talk about some Guns Akimbo.
Guns Akimbo.
An ordinary guy suddenly finds himself forced to fight a gladiator-like battle for a dark website that streams the violence for viewers. This stars Daniel Radcliffe, Samara Weaving, Ned Dennehy, Natasha Bordizzo, and Rice Darby. So I checked this out on digital. I've been watching a couple movies. I'm going to talk about another one here in a minute. God, stop it!
Guns Akimbo.
Whew, man. Oh, man. Reminds me of Daniel Radcliffe when he's dodging all those bullets in this movie.
Yeah,
here.
he's
And,
dodging
so
confetti.
this to me was this is a fun B ride.
It was.
Where it is violence and like, in fact, I actually took it out of the premise, but part of it is the girl gets kidnapped. He's got to go save the girl. That's a big chunk of this movie. It was in the premise, actually. I took it out because I thought it was too spoilery, but I want to mention it here just because this hits a lot of usual notes here, but it's fun along the way.
It's a fun ride.
Samara Weaving, who I think is,
Unbelievable.
speaking of women that kick ass, from Ready or Not to this, she's a lot of fun here. Doesn't have enough dialogue, and that was one kind of thing that held me back from really liking this. That you know, when you finally find out about her character, you don't really get enough of her, or even enough of other characters. Like for instance, when the one guy feels the one thing, and then the second later he's out of it already.
Yeah.
You know, I just
That's how you limit the plot. You just keep
yeah,
moving.
it really did. But it also helped move it forward too.
Yes,
so.
yes. I enjoyed it.
Rice Darby too, man. I my only complaint is I wish there was more.
More,
so
yes.
much more. I get that it wouldn't make too much sense, but damn, do you want more of him?
Do you not? Okay, I love, I
or
know
a
it was such a-
spin-off. Give me a spin-off.
It was such a great scene, and I'm not. I don't care. I'm just going to talk about it, but. I loved it when he was looking for something to eat. I'm very hungry, and he says, "How long have you had this hot dog?" He's, I don't know, 2 years or something like that. And he's like, "Oh, okay," and, but I just love.
Then he goes like, "Oh, how fresh was it?" He's like, "Not very fresh." Well, it's been here for 8 months.
Yeah, he's been holding it in the wrapper. It's just unbelievably fun. Rise to me is just a fun character, great character actor. He does great in Jumanjis.
Yeah, when he
does
pops up,
great
welcome
in-
to Jumanji.
Yeah, so if that's your reference point, that's your reference point. For
Yes,
him.
man. So much more. Yeah.
Yeah,
Flight
he's-
the Concords.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm just saying he does a lot of more guns ablazing. But yeah, it's a great film, and I'm with you. So
Stop it.
no, I just got hit by something. What the hell did I get hit? Shrapnel. Look, this.
What did you give it? Do you remember?
I think I gave it 3.5.
Well, for once we agree. 3.5 from
It was
JPO.
so much fun. It's
From JPO.
such
3.5.
such a fun thing. And let me get the
Yeah, you read this next one because this next one, whoo, it's an odd one.
Okay, this one we call 7 Stages to Achieve an Eternal Bliss. Well, let's see. A small town couple finds the perfect apartment in the big city, except there's one catch. The apartment is home to a ritualistic suicide of a deranged cult. Starring this. Jesus. If you haven't drank a lot by now, I think now is the time to take a couple shots because I'm going to mess up these last names. Kate Micucci.
Sure.
Sam Worthington, Dan
Huntington.
Harmon.
Sam Worthington's the Avatar guy. Huntington. That was my bad.
Oh, okay, Huntington. Okay, Sam Huntington, not Worthington.
My bad.
Even though they're two people who I
Worthington
know.
was on my mind. Every day.
Yes, Dan Harmon. I say it right.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah, TW for
First name.
Hey, I got it right the last show, but this show can't do it. Don't know. It's like it comes and goes, ebbs and flows. Mark McKinney and Maria Bamford. So, what the hell is this film? Please tell me.
I was looking up. I went through like a real deep dive. I wanted a comedy, and I'm going through.
Scrape it as hard as you can,
And
baby.
I look at new releases, and I'm several rows down, and I see this thing, and I see Huntington and Micucci. I like Micucci. She's been in a bunch of stuff. Never usually the star. And Huntington was in Superman Returns. He was Jimmy Olsen. He's been in a bunch of stuff too. Okay. And so I was like, oh, I like these two. And I clicked on it and I looked at the cast. Dan Harmon, who is the creator of Rick and Morty and Community, in an acting role. Taika Waititi, well, why not? He plays the cult leader in flashbacks and dream sequences.
Did you have a hand in any of this, or just acting?
No, it's just acting. But both of them just acting, which is unfortunate because this movie would have been better if Waititi or Harmon. Oh my God, Waititi and Harmon if they had something to do with the writing of this. And then it keeps going too. There's several people I left out, basically because they're in it for like a scene. Brian Posehn, one of Robert Everson's last movies. Sadly, this thing was also done about 2 years ago. I saw interviews from the Tribeca Film Festival 2018, and it's just now getting out there, which is also not a great sign. Did it even say in the premise here?
I don't know. I read the premise that you gave me.
Did you read the suicides part?
Well, you said, ritual suicides. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Because, that's the premise, man. People pop up. First, Kyle Big Head from...
Kyle Big Head. You know that actor, don't you?
No, he's Silicon Valley, the guy that plays Big Head, Kyle something.
I don't watch the show,
he's the first one that pops up. And people just keep killing themselves in their tub, which is already a weird thing. But then they get into it. And it's just this really weird, odd mix of murder but trying to be funny, but there's nothing really funny to go with it. And again, a very just really lackluster written pairing of these two. You find later on, like basically at the very end, some of the problems they're going through, but it's never something that's really brought up too much beforehand. And Waititi doesn't have much to do here either. He's not in it much, but even when he does, I wish he had something better here. The saving grace of this thing, not that it's saved, is Dan Harmon, because he's quite funny as the bumbling cop who just wants to get his screenplay out there. And he's funny. He has some good moments here in this to where I wish it was more of him just playing around. So, this is an odd one, man. This is... It's like it's an hour and 20-some minutes. There's really not much to it. And some of these comedies, man, I love a lot of these people here. I really do. But I could not get into this.
Okay, well, so stars you gave it 1?
No. It's way higher than a 1. It's a solid
half a star.
It's 1.5.
Okay, he forced that 1.5. You heard that?
No, because I was thinking
he really forced.
I was thinking 2 because I like even Mark McKinney from Superstore and Kids in the Hall.
You know what? You could like the
got
actors,
a funny
but
scene.
You could say the movie really
I do.
sucks.
I almost feel weird giving a Taika Waititi movie anything less than 4 because so far he's had a good track record.
He's had a great track record
outside of Green Lantern.
Yeah.
I would watch Green Lantern again.
How was that again? Did you watch it again? You watched it?
No. I'm saying Taika Waititi has a really good track record outside of this and Green Lantern.
I thought Green Lantern.
But I would watch Green Lantern again.
Yeah, I would watch Green again. You're next again. This time we're staying with Netflix. We're going with Netflix on this one.
So screw you, Hulu. You burned me. Oh no, that was Vudu.
Yeah, that was
Hulu and Vudu so far have burned me. So now we're going to Netflix on Spencer Confidential. Spencer, a former Boston patrolman who just got out of prison, teams up with Hawk, an aspiring fighter. I had to say like the Word Warrior. Hawk! To unravel the truth behind the death of 2 police officers. This has Mark Wahlberg, Winston Duke, Alan Arkin, Eliza Schlesinger, Bokeem Woodbine, Mark Maron, and Austin Post. What you got?
I got a question. I don't know if you remember this. You probably don't. You may, Dizzle. Spencer for Hire. Do you remember that show? Yeah. Now, to me, this has got to be close to that premise. I mean, Spencer for Hire, he's, I think, a convict. He has a friend by the name of Hawk.
Oh, then it has to be.
It's got to be like a reboot without really.
Look it up while I talk.
Spencer for Hire. So
look it up while I talk because he's a convict that has a friend named Hawk. Like, if it's not, then the creator should sue.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So I didn't even notice this till afterwards. But this is it's a Peter Berg movie, and it's the 5th collaboration between Wahlberg and Berg. They've worked on Lone Survivor and Patriots Day, Deepwater Horizon, and most recently 22 Mile. I think that's what it was called. This is the first time though they've done more of it's a buddy cop comedy, definitely more on the humor side as well. That is one of my faults with it though, is that it's one of those films that very much tries to ride that line of, oh, do we want to be a fun a fun movie, or do we want to be a really gritty, people get murdered and there's stakes movies? And it kind of felt a little tonally off for me. There is definitely fun to be had here. I like the pairing, but again, as I said in another movie, like the fact that like they're strangers and they don't quite get along because one snores and the other one's da-da-da. And then just like a couple scenes later, like they're going in a battle together, and it's not really earned totally. But like again, that's just kind of, I feel like that's maybe sometimes nitpicking and like a critic's thing to say, but you know, I liked it enough. I had fun. It's definitely, to me, the epitome of, if this was in theaters, I'd say wait for Netflix. But you don't have to wait for Netflix. It's there, out there now. I liked it more than 22 Mile. I liked it way less than the other 3 movies they made together, though, which are obviously a lot more dramatic and actually had some true stories behind it. So
Yeah, so this
I'm giving it
one-
3 if I didn't say that already.
Okay, so Marky Mark's character is not
Yes.
he's not a private investigator.
Well, so he's coming out of jail because he's a guy that he's got to do the right thing, and he beat up his boss one day because he found out his boss was maybe beating a girl, and I actually forgot already what he did, but he thought his boss was into some crime, so he beat him up. Unfortunately, had to go to jail, and he's just coming out of jail now. Post Malone tries to attack him before he gets out.
Yeah, because that's what I'm doing. Because I'm just looking at this, and
Oh yeah, that was good. I liked it. All right.
Oh, you saw this?
Yeah.
What do you snowflake it and get on the mic?
I will give that one. I'll give it 3.
All right, well,
3.
spot on.
okay, because I was looking at Spencer for Hire. You know, this is Spencer for Hire is basically a private investigator living in Boston, gets involved in a new murder mystery each week, and his best friend's Hawk. So I was kind of like, okay, maybe they took a little bit here
They
and
must
there.
have.
You know,
That comedian on that one, she played that crazy bitch pretty damn good.
Yeah, Liza's fun, and yeah, it's one of the first acting roles I've seen of her. Actually, I wonder if Mark Watt liked her because she's in
Yeah.
that family movie where they adopt kids. She
Oh,
has a
okay.
small part in that. So I wonder if he was maybe like, oh, put her in this
He
because
wrote that whole thing.
no, he did anything
he
for
just
it.
did it.
He's just
He probably produced it.
He might have
This
produced
whole
it.
Boston scene and all of that. You know.
Yeah, true. That's probably why he was attracted to it. And him and Berg, like I said, this is their fifth
I don't gotta
time.
go to Wake very far. Yeah.
Fifth time him and Berg are together.
So that's interesting.
I liked the Post Malone. I thought Post Malone did good.
He did fine. Yeah, he's only in like 2 scenes.
Still
but he's
trying
fine.
to figure out what kind of thing he does, but that's just me.
He's a rapper, singer,
Right.
an actor.
Don't know. Anyway.
No, I mean that was just a couple of decent names that had.
I know. Just something to get some young kids to look at it or something.
Put it up, yeah, it was a low budget.
Bunch of us old people. Bunch of us old people
Yeah,
watching
but
it,
too
trying to
much. I
figure
mean, a
out
little bit. You know, you had some
why is that
car
gentleman?
effects and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm sure.
Why is that
40
gentleman
million,
got stuff on his face? Huh? Just
Well,
trying to
he's
figure it
in
out.
prison in this movie, so it makes
It
sense.
makes sense. He's bored, so he just puts face tattoos all over him. So, Jesus. Anyway,
Yeah, the money was.
Okay, boomer.
I'm not a boomer, you bastard. We're part of Gen X. We know how to stay alone without condemn contact. That's what we do. Isn't that right? We're Gen Xers. We could be holed up for months and never talk to anybody. That's how good we
I
are.
started reading a book last night. I'm gonna. I got my iPad, so I'm good.
Yeah,
Who
see?
can't leave the house? Agoraphobics.
Yeah, agoraphobics.
Right now they're laughing like, ha ha ha! I'm gonna live forever, motherfucker.
I told you. You know, I was right.
Who's laughing now?
Amy Adams is at home.
Asian movie hit it right on. didn't
Oh, I know. That's a scary.
That's in
film.
the top 10 watch Netflix right now.
It's so scary.
Why would you want to watch
A
that?
lot of people are.
I don't want to watch Contagion right now.
Yes.
It's like the biggest.
I'll be honest. I never
spot on.
wanted to watch Contagion. Never seen it. Have no intention of ever
It's like-
seeing it.
it's like,
that no rule
You know
fit me
what
the
I
f
want?
out.
You know what I want to watch? I want to watch Contagion. Then after that, I want to watch Outbreak. Then I want to
That's up there
watch
too, I think.
Andromeda Strain. And then after that, I might watch Planet of the Apes because we blew it up, man.
And then after that, Wrist Cutters.
we
and just
blew
end
it up. Yeah. and then 13 Things or something. Whatever that simple.
Why?
Show about shows.
Yeah. Well, then, wait, yeah. After that,
Resurrect yourself.
that would just be. So okay, we watched those movies. There's gonna be more. Not probably a lot of VOD, a lot of Netflix, a lot of Hulu, a lot of things that we're gonna be watching. And we're gonna cover it up. Maybe some Redbox because you got access to Redbox.
At the moment, but none new's gonna be coming out.
Well,
oh
yeah.
no, that's not true. Actually, I think
There's a lot
they're
of
gonna keep doing
VODs.
that.
There's a lot of VODs
Yeah.
coming. But what we decided, we've done the top 10 sitcoms. Now we're gonna do the top 10 dramas or dramas is if and so we're gonna do top 10 dramas. I have my top 10. You have your top 10. Dizzle's been working on his top 10 the whole night.
I'm gonna do 5.
Okay,
The whole night, aka the last 10 minutes.
Okay, he will drop it in
Series or movies?
series, no movies, no series, no mini series.
Always so prepared.
Just television.
Television.
Television shows. And Matt Houston better not be in your top 5 because you'll be stealing it from me, you bastard.
No.
Lee Horsley, come on.
What's that?
What the hell? What is with this youth deal? Anyway, okay. So we got 10. Do you want me to just read my bottom 5 and then you read your
Well, so
bottom
he
5?
can go last. I should go first.
Well, I'm just
Okay, I'm
saying
still
he's doing
putting
his
mine
5.
I know. That's what I'm saying. If I go first and you go second, then he goes third, clockwise.
Okay, but we got to start at 10.
Yeah, I know.
And by the time he get done with his,
I know. So we do this every week. How do we still not have this down?
I'm not
every
sure.
week we go. Who goes first? Who goes second? Should I do the 10 to 6?
well, I
or should
could go
do 5?
second, and you could go. I could go first.
Then that's counterclockwise.
Well, I can do this.
Well, that's
and
clockwise
this.
too, isn't it?
Yeah, but
Oh, mine
we're just
would've been
omitting him.
counterclockwise. No.
We're just going back and forth like table tennis until we get to 5, and then we bring him in the
Fine,
loop.
counterclockwise. Whatever. Go.
It goes clockwise once we bring him in.
No,
At
mine
5.
would be clockwise.
You know,
you go first, so it's
This is such a great
counterclockwise.
show, and I want you all to remember, kids. This is what happens when you don't go outside. Anyway, go for it. You started, Jordan.
Oh, so
You're the
clockwise?
gentleman. You're the gentleman of the night.
All right, my top 10 dramatic TV shows are number 10, Law and Order, SVU.
Ooh.
Number 9, Weeds. Number 8, Angel. Number 7, The X-Files. Number 6, Daredevil. And my number 5 show is The Walking Dead. I know that. What was that? It's Chewbacca dying. The Walking Dead here, man. At first, I almost didn't put it on the list because the last couple of seasons have been a little repetitive, dragged a bit. Although this season's been pretty good. This season's better than the last 2 or 3 before it. But then I was like, there's no way I can deny that this belongs to me anyway in the top 10, now top 5, because there's definitely a long while where this was just automatic viewing on Sundays. A couple times there
Absolutely.
was watch parties for the premiere. People showed up. That was fun. You know what I mean? So there's a reason why at one point they were like, this show's never going to end. Look at these ratings. And now they're like, this show will end in a year or 2. So just some great moments here. Carl and the whole cast.
The pudding episode is still my favorite one out of the whole bunch.
Yes, when he eats a big old tub of pudding.
Yeah, at the very end, sitting on the roof, and you have the zombie just trying to get out the window, and he's just eating his.
There's some great stuff. The Maggie, Daryl, there's a point, and that's why I still watch. This is actually still a show that maybe I don't watch it right away on Sunday, but I probably will get it done by Tuesday, Wednesday, the latest.
I might finish it up when they have the movie that come out when it comes out.
So he's got some Rick Grimes movies coming
Yeah,
for
when
you.
they got the Rick Grimes movie comes out, I'll probably finish it up
Like
finally.
I said, even this season, even though we had the disappearance of what was it, Maggie? She'll
be
just kind of popped away.
she'll
Well,
be-
her show got canceled. Of course, she's coming back. Yeah.
So they got to put her. Put her
And
back in.
Michonne, I just remember they just showed the preview for next week against Michonne, and she's been gone for like the last half of the season. Oh shit, Michonne! I forgot all about you.
Did she get like canceled too or something? Did she have
I don't know. She probably just wanted a break. I don't know. Who knows? It's very sweaty to film in Georgia.
It
So
is. So no, well, I'll give you my bottom and of course 5. So my number 10, Altered Carbon. Number 9, The Shield. Number 7, where are we at? No, where are we at? 10, 9, okay, 8. That's the number we're going with. Number 8, Lost. Number 7, Game of Thrones. Number 6, where the hell did number 6 go on my list? There it is, The Wire. And number 5 on my list, Oz. And I got to tell you, Oz is where I got.
very autobiographical.
Yes, it reminded me of my days when I was in a maximum security prison, and J.K. Simmons looked at me and said, "I'm gonna fuck you." So, and I had to join a team, man. I'm sorry.
Why, J. Jonah? Why?
Yeah, but yeah, that movie was so good. It showed a lot of great stories, a lot of great character arcs. It showed a guy who just went in. It was accidental manslaughter with he just was drinking and driving and accidentally ran over somebody, and it turned that main character, I can't remember his name off the top, but it made him go down a deep hole in which he became the worst of the worst, and he was the nicest of the guys. So it goes to show you how prisons can change a man.
So he was Breaking Bad.
Yes, he was. He turned very bad in the breaking part of it, but he got broke real quick by J.K. Simmons and his Aryan Nation. But he had to. I don't know. I just enjoyed the whole cast very well. The writing was excellent, and even to the very last episode, it did not disappoint. It's on. You can probably get it on demand somewhere for free, like on Prime or something like that. But Oz, HBO's, really one of the ones that was like water cooler talk.
That's one of those I've never seen, not a single episode. I might have to give it a shot.
You need to. It is, to me, it's still, episodes that are just unbelievably, and you like, oh, I can't wait. And it was that type of television, where you had to talk to your friends about it the next day, and then you were like, what's going to happen this week? And then you were upset if they preempted it any time, and they were actually pretty good with their seasons back then. They didn't have like 3-year gaps, like some. So what do you got for your number 5 there, Diz?
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. I can't fault you for putting that in the top 5. Breaking Bad, great show. We're I don't know, Bryan Cranston, just so much different than what we were used to.
Overrated. No, I'm just kidding.
So much different than what we were used to with the Malcolm in the Middle dad. He was great in Malcolm in the Middle. I loved his character. He kind of reminded me of what I would probably be as a dad, to be honest with you.
Always in your underwear.
Yeah, always in my underwear going, what?
And very hairy chest.
No, I don't know about that. I shave. Anyway, so.
He did Florida Theater for a long time.
No, did he?
That's how he got his start.
See, no, we should be all doing Florida Theater then, if that's going to be our way to get out of here. Jordan, what do you got for your number 4?
My number 4, you mentioned briefly, my friend Dutch, and that is Lost. Can't argue again another show that you might have said whimpered out a little bit towards the end.
I love the end.
I like the finale as well, actually.
Yes.
If they had maybe done it 2 seasons earlier, I think it might have been a really impactful show and it impacted the ending. But yeah, no, I actually don't mind the ending. It was what a lot of people kind of thought, and they were like, no, and then the end was.
Yeah. Because you had the heaven and the hell part, where you had, I can't remember who played, I think, the devil in Supernatural. I can't remember his name, but he was also like an angel in in this one. So
it's his dad, right? Jack's dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, wow, that is just.
And they got everyone back to it for those last few episodes too. Everyone's back,
and I cried during that episode.
Man, yeah, no, and that's what I've actually watched like the last chunk of that episode a couple times since.
Yeah.
Like that and Scrubs are like finales that I'll watch just on their own.
Yeah.
But and also too, going back to what I said with Walking Dead, I mean, this was something that I also too hold close to my heart. This was mandatory viewing for like my whole main family. It was something me, my mom and dad was like, that pilot looks interesting. Like we don't always agree on stuff, but this is for whatever reason the show that all 3 of us were like, yeah, sit down, let's watch it Thursday at 8 or whatever the hell it was. And so this was mandatory reviewing probably the first 2 or 3 years. Then I think my mom fell off, and then I got busy having a life and stuff like that. So
I never had a life. I
those
watched
first few
every
years,
ounce.
just great episodes too. The backstories of everyone, Terry O'Quinn, like just
Terry
absolutely
O'Quinn,
killing it as Locke. Right?
I love him. It's just great actor.
Sawyer, Josh Holloway.
Evangeline Lilly.
Yeah, find out her backstory of she's the prisoner. And just that whole cast there. What was it? A guy from Lord of the Rings. Charlie.
Donald, I can't remember his name.
Harold Perrineau as the father. So just lots of great stuff. Great guest stars too. If you look back on them
Katie
too.
Seagal, I think, was in one.
Katie Seagal, Nathan Fillion is in one of the Evangeline episodes. So just a great show. Not all the mysteries were solved, unfortunately.
J.J. Abrams just had it going for that.
There's sideway universes and reverse universes, so it got a little crazy in that regard. But yeah, those first few seasons, it's a show that I've actually wanted to rewatch again too from beginning to end.
We should have a podcast on it. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, getting lost and lost.
That's good. We've already copyrighted that show, so if you steal it, we'll kick your ass.
Sounds of Vengeance.
Yes.
What's your foreski?
My foreski, we did bring it up. It was Dizzle's number 5. Breaking Bad. And again, it's one of those great movies where you have a good guy who has to turn bad just to survive.
Show.
Did I say movie?
Yeah.
It feels
but
like
it's also a great movie, El Camino. Have you seen El Camino?
No, I have not. I've been busy.
For show.
It gets.
Hasn't seen El Camino. Now you got time.
I've never seen Better Call Saul either. I saw one episode.
I've seen
But
2 or 3.
I'm waiting for the seasons to be done because I like to binge watch those. But I saw the first episode, and Better Call Saul looks amazing. But Breaking Bad, it took me. How many seasons did they have? 5 or something like
I want
that?
to say 5.
Okay, so it took 5 seasons after it was done, or whatever, how many seasons it was over. I was like, okay, I'll watch it now. Because everyone said, oh, it's such a great show, such a great show. And then when I watched it, I couldn't get enough. And then when I finished it, I was like, oh, I want more. I want more.
And you get a little bit more with El Camino.
You can get more El Camino, and you can get more Better Call Saul. So it's just a great world that was created, and just a man who has to make compromises, and those compromises was to break the law or die, and he didn't want to die or leave his family penniless. As he did make those things. The only thing I didn't like, though, is the son was a little uppity, when he found out that his dad was a drug dealer, okay? You were accepting of the car. You were accepting of all these other trophies that came along with it, but the son became an ingrate. Okay? Plain and simple.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's just my opinion.
And you can keep your opinion.
Yeah. You may not agree, but...
What's your number 4, Dutch? Or
Dizzle.
Dizzle?
You had my number 4.
Whatever your names are.
Now, I don't know if some of my classic old school.
There you
shit.
go. Put it in.
Well, hold on. Tell us and we'll let you know.
We like old school.
Riptide.
Oh,
that?
it was a great detective show.
Back in the
Yeah,
day.
it was great.
Riptide,
Riptide, man.
Oz, right?
Yes. It was okay. What's his name from Jake and the Fat Man? I can't remember his name all of a sudden.
Was it Jake?
It was
Or
Jake.
was it the Fat Man?
It was Jake. It was Jake. It was not the Fat Man. We got to talk about that show because to me, that was an epitome of '80s. I loved it. It also had Eugene in it. Remember here it is, Riptide with Perry King and Joe Penny. It lasted for at least it looks like 2 seasons maybe, but it was so much fun when we watched it. It was a great detective show, and to me it was just good. It was like they call it Dragnet on water. So there you go. So what?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I used to just, I don't know, for some reason I loved that.
Yeah,
Those
they're-
2 guys, and then they had their the nerd there.
Yeah, it was. What do you call it? It says here. It says a case of a private investigation agency run by 3 Vietnam veterans armed with toughness, their own helicopter, and a third technical and a third's technical ability, which was Eugene, I believe. It was.
I loved it.
But yeah, it was a very fun
You know
time.
what? A lot of mine are the classics.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that, man. We all love it. I brought Quincy just for fun, and Jordan's head almost exploded. But Quincy with Jack Klugman. So, what do you have for number 3 there, good sir?
My number 3, let me know if you think I can get away with this. I think so. You are now entering a Twilight Zone.
Yeah, it's a drama.
I think there's some great dramatic moments in it here.
Absolutely. Which one, the most recent or even the
old school.
Okay. Well, the new
Only one
one's too
season of
late.
the new one.
Yeah, well, you can still say yay.
No, it's actually neither. It's the Forrest Whitaker one.
What?
You don't remember that?
The Forrest Whitaker one.
There's a Forrest Whitaker Twilight Zone in between the 2. There's the old school black and
Was it
white.
the Return to the Twilight Zone?
No, it's just Twilight Zone. It was on for like a season or 2.
Oh, I never knew that.
Hitchcock stuff work in general.
I haven't seen much, but yeah, I like Psycho.
Yeah, Rod Sterling though was freaking amazing for a guy who created this. I mean, and I love how he used to smoke cigarettes and talk to you.
But yeah, from the iconic beginning, which we still get to this day with Jordan Peele and Forrest Whitaker, which you forgot evidently. Look it up, Forrest Whitaker. I'm not making this up.
I'll look it up later. I'm not gonna.
There's just so many iconic episodes. I even watch, every Thanksgiving they do a marathon, and even besides that, if you do deep dive on, I think Hulu, is it on Hulu?
What?
Twilight Zone.
I believe it is. Yes.
So I'll just throw
Or
on
on CBS
a
Access, one of
random
those.
one, and there's just some of them are so well done. Invisible Man. There's one about a father, of course, the airplane.
I love the
army,
the stopwatch. The stopwatch
stopwatch, glasses.
Oh, the glasses was awful. I hated that.
The one where the guy was buried in in the casket.
No,
the reading one, right? Is that what you're thinking of?
No, he had his glasses and he could finally he could see everything perfectly or something. And then all of a sudden, the world just happened right, and it just broke. His glasses broke, and he could never see again. And he cried because no one could help him. You know, it was like sad. You know, but it was such a great episode.
Oh, I forgot the one. Beauty and the Eye of the Beholder.
Oh,
the pig faces.
The pig face ladies. Yeah, and the beautiful chick.
She will never be as pretty as us.
Yeah.
And there's just so many iconic classic episodes, and they still hold up too. Like there's a couple times obviously you'll see stuff where you're like, oh, that's old, but like a lot of these are just they're evergreen, and
I
just a wonderful show.
You can get still kind of boogered by some of those, and it's just amazing.
Absolutely.
I agree with you. I don't really. You know what's funny is I'm looking at my list. I don't have a lot of old flashbacks like that in mine, which is kind of odd because I am an oldie.
I know that's definitely easily the oldest thing I got on here.
Yeah.
56 episodes of the Twilight.
Wow, Rod Sterling, man. How does he come up with that stuff back then? Number 3 on my list is hey, Tony, you want some gabagool? We're going with The Sopranos. One of the greatest.
You must have loved your HBO in the 90s.
I loved HBO. HBO couldn't do no wrong. You know what I'm saying?
I know, that's the truth.
And HBO, no matter.
You would sit there and
HBO would be on TV, and Sopranos, brother. It was just a great, just in-depth look at what it would be to be a wise guy. And just Tony Soprano, the way he carried himself, and the family dynamics, where you just wanted to strangle. What was the kid's name? Not the boy, but the girls mostly, because she was always a pain in the ass.
I was told years ago. Did you ever see photos of me when I was 12 or 14?
No,
I was told I looked like the sun.
really.
Just saying.
Oh, okay. But no, I thought it was just a great, ensemble cast, well-paced writing. Even the last episode where it goes blank, okay?
Don't stop believing.
And I loved it. I thought, perfect. That's the way it should end. I don't want to know what happens. Did he get killed? Did they not get whacked? I don't know.
Probably going to get a movie in there, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah, that's a bad thing. But his son looks just like him, so maybe, maybe. He could play a young Tony. Go backwards in time.
No,
let's do it.
We're going to anyway.
That's what I heard. But yeah. But The Sopranos. If you have never watched it again, you can watch it on Prime.
I've never watched it.
What the hell, man? A lot of great things. Okay,
I saw the pilot.
Now tell me if this scared. I don't know. Did you watch every episode there is of Sopranos?
Some, not all.
Okay, the thing that scared me the most is when his mother died. The actress who played his mother in real life died, and they decided, okay, we have CGI ability. Let's put her dead face on this actress's face, right? Like they did almost, they did it to perfection in Star Wars, Rogue One. They did it to perfection there. This one, it was like early still in the technology, and her face was like really floating like a ghost, and it was really scary and very unnerving to watch that episode. But other than that, that lady played the greatest mom, who was the most evil woman, but the sweetest woman to her own child that I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, Sopranos is my number 3. You should go watch it. It's out there. It'll get. So what do you got for number 3, my good man?
I'm sticking with my. You had your 90s. I'll do my 80s. Simon and Simon.
Oh, I love Simon and Simon. Tim Reed shows up in that. That's you're this is my wheelhouse too. I love Simon and Simon. Have you ever seen Simon and Simon?
No, so far Dizzle's list is half of stuff that he could be making up, and I don't even know.
No.
Like it's not sure Simon and Simon, just like Jim and Jeff.
No, I can tell you right now that Simon and Simon was Gerald McCraney was in it, along with Tim Reed. I could never remember the blonde actor's name to save my life. I'm going to pull him up, give him some credit at least. Jameson Parker, who played AJ, and Rick was Gerald McCraney, and Tim Reed was Lieutenant Marcel Downtown Brown, I believe. And I just found that show was fun. It was fun all the time, and it had a great theme song, But they changed that theme song to that later on. They didn't. That wasn't the original theme song.
I love that theme song.
but it wasn't the original theme song, which is like almost like Magnum was not the original Magnum theme song that we all know today. It was a totally different, awful one. What do you got for number 2, my big man there, sir?
Into every generation, a Slayer is born. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, baby.
I love it.
7 seasons of just pure mwah from Joss Whedon, who also made Angel, which cracked my top 10 as well. Firefly, which if we ever do the Gone Too Soon category,
We will do that.
probably my number 1. I'm saying it now, baby. Just fantastic stuff here, guys. I mean, humor, heart, and inventiveness, great monsters, great villains of the season.
The Nathan Fillion Preacher episode, unbelievable.
Nathan Fillion, that whole season of
that just whole deal.
the nerds, and then the final season, Spike's transition from a guy that was supposed to die in 3 episodes to being the hero of the finale. Yeah. I mean, the stuff with her and Angel. I mean, come on, just so much good stuff.
It's just such a great show.
The Master, the Mayor, Adam, Glory, the nerds. Come on, man.
Everything about it.
It's why.
Did you ever think though in that show that they kind of jumped the shark where they brought in Dawn as her sister?
I thought her debut was fantastic. Yeah. Season 5, the opener of just all of a sudden, Mom, Dawn. It's like, and you're watching going,
yeah.
It's season 5. What do you mean you don't got a sister? What the fuck just happened?
I know exactly.
That's pretty cool.
I at first I was like, what the hell is going on? Did they change the show and recast?
Did I miss a season?
That's what I was like. And I mean, all the friends who I watched it with on a regular every week basis, we watched it from home, but we always after the episode we would talk to each other on the phone because that's how it was. We didn't want to interrupt because we had commercials. We had commercials. We didn't have fucking VO. We could DVRs. We didn't have any of that. We had to watch it as it was with commercials.
I had
and you had to watch
a plethora of taped VHSs before DVD box sets were a thing. I'd be like, season 7,
But what I liked about it, though, when Angel came out, then you had to match up the episodes, and because if you didn't watch that, and now if you watch it by yourself, it kind of gets disjointed. So now they show you how to watch it. They have like little cheater guides on.
I'm sure.
That helps you watch whatever episodes.
So even like a year or 2 ago, there was like a commemorative, not even just Entertainment Weekly. It was its own magazine that comes out every so often.
Yeah,
they used to have its monthly magazine that I got several times. Dude, I wrote fan fiction. That's how much I love this freaking show.
Wow.
I can't say that for anything else. I wrote fan fiction. At one point, you could quiz me on literally any actor, any guest star. Yeah. Be like, she was in season 2, episodes 4 and 9. Like,
so you're like a Star Trek fan.
I used to just be deadly into this thing, and I still love it and respect it. And it's a show that I mentioned this before with Lost. This is definitely a show I need to go one by one because my coworker Lisa was talking about it the other day. I was like, I almost forgot about that. Yeah. So I need to go and rewatch this thing. I've seen definitely over at least 3 times, if not 4 to 7 times, depending on the episode. And yeah, just Halloween episodes are great. I love the show.
Yeah, right now, okay, I'll give you my number 2 in just a second, but I just wanted you to be aware. I'm still watching. I'm trying to get back into the swing of watching now that I don't really have much to do now. I'm going to be watching a lot of my Magnum shows still. I'm still watching Magnum, still enjoying it.
Have you seen the guest star of My Father yet?
Not yet. I think he said he was going to be about 88 or so. So I have to go wait until I get to 88. I'm in the early.
I don't think we talk about that on the show, but
86 or something
my
like that.
dad does guest star.
I think I'm in the 82.
Magnum PI.
I think I'm in the 82 season right now.
Okay,
but
you got a while.
I got a while. It's like 6 or 8 seasons or something like that. I gotta pace myself.
Shout out to Pops.
But my number 2, you have never watched an episode, nor will you watch the episode, nor will you watch the movie Downton Abbey, the greatest show on earth. I can't wait.
That's number 2.
It's for what it is. It is a great because it was a toss up between these 2 that I have on the top. Great writing, great storytelling. Julian Fellows just puts it together and makes you care about the characters. Even the characters that you don't care for, like Thomas sometimes. And you look at it and you say, I really like Thomas now. And he moved over as it went along. And you felt a kinship to these people, you do, and you felt like you were part of their everyday life, and it's just a remarkable story. Fantastic. Like I said, I cannot say it enough. I may shit on Paul Giamatti a lot, but he has a great. What I'm saying is not the greatest actor in my mind, He's a great actor.
I'm done with this show.
I know, but I'm just saying, I do diss him a little bit here and there. But he, when he showed up in Downton Abbey along with Shirley MacLaine, those two played
Now,
so
hold on, Jim.
wonderfully
I
together.
watched Sideways the other day.
That's a great show. That's a good movie. I like Thomas Hayden Church in that as well. Margaret, it wasn't Cho. Who's Susan? Was it Susan Cho?
Sandra Oh.
Sandra Oh. So Jesus. I'm sorry.
Hayden Church. I like him.
Yeah, he's one of those actors who gets hot for a minute and then he falls off, then he gets hot again. It's just an amazing thing.
Now,
but,
hold on, Jim. You never told me Paul Giamatti was in Downton
yeah,
Abbey.
Paul Giamatti. I believe he's in the near last parts of the seasons. But yeah, he shows
I
up.
might watch those episodes.
He's the American brother, and Shirley MacLaine is, of course, the mother and the main mom in Downton Abbey because she's an American. But yeah, I just found it just a great show. I still find myself turning it on occasion just to watch an episode. My next door neighbor loves it. I know. Rosie loves it, and it's just one of those shows that just there's only a few of those shows that ever come across a generation and touch
what's
a
up,
lot
Rosie?
more than just a lot of generations at once. There's a very rare shows. This is one of those.
Rosie, if you're watching, call me. Oh, he can hear this.
Okay, so what do you got for number 2, boss?
Family Ties. I mean, it kind of could be a comedy there.
But they got a lot serious though. They really did a lot more serious stuff.
I don't know why I love that one.
The
growing
suicide episode. There's
Yeah, the one I wanted to commit while watching.
yeah. There's a couple suicide episodes. There's a few other.
I'm friends with Mark Price, who played Skippy.
Oh yeah, you are.
Yeah, I've worked with him a couple times. Good guy.
Yeah,
I drove him around.
yeah. What's he doing now?
Stand-up comedy. He's a comedian.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe next time he's in town.
Oh, you want to see him? Yeah, he comes by.
No, I'm
he used to
saying-
come by more often, but
Comes
yeah.
in town. There's a Medea chair he can sit in. We can talk about family ties.
Yeah, Mark Price. He played Skippy
Here
with
we
a friend
are,
or something. You know what I'm talking about?
face to face. Oh no, sorry, that's the wrong song. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's like, we got those family ties.
No, that's
What a
not
way
it.
to make a living, working family ties.
Beans don't burn in the kitchen. Only
Family
on
ties on the grill.
ties. But anyway, that was a good show. Michael J. Fox, Justine Bateman,
You take the family,
Tina
take the ties, and then
Yothers,
you
Michael
get
Gross,
the family ties.
what was the mom's name? Meredith Baxter Burney. I thought they kind of ruined the show though when they brought the little kid in.
Leonardo DiCaprio?
No, that was in The Growing Pains. Totally different. Actually, no, that actually helped that show a little bit.
Oh, wait, is he on Growing Pains? No, I think it's Family Ties. I don't know.
It was who?
I forgot. Was my friend on Growing Ties? or
No,
Family
he
Ties?
was on.
Oh, you remember who I'm talking
yeah.
about?
If
Oh,
you put
okay.
Skippy, was Family Ties.
Yeah, then, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
'Cause
and
he literally goes by Mark Skippy Price, I think.
Oh, dear
Something
gosh.
like that.
It's almost like Dynamite, that guy, you know.
Yeah.
JJ Walker.
In case you forgot.
Yeah, JJ Dynamite Walker. So that was your number. What was that number for you? Two.
Two.
So number 1. Give us the number 1.
Number 1, drum roll, please. It is a show that you both have mentioned already, and I think it's criminally low on both your lists, obviously. Breaking Bad is number 1.
Tell us why.
Why not Dutch? Now, I've mentioned twice now about it being just mandatory weekly viewing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever been more itchy to watch the next show. Now, I was similar-ish to you as I get this stuff off me. I didn't see all of it weekly. I probably saw like maybe the last season, if not 2, actually on a weekly basis. But before that, I remember it being a show of me being like, it's 3 a.m. or I got to go to work soon, but I really got to see this next episode. Or like going to work being like, fuck, what happened? I want to see that next episode. Just great, tremendous building. Some of the best character work you'll see with Bryan Cranston, as you mentioned, from him just being, the fun guy on Seinfeld and Malcolm in the Middle. And there he is guest starring on How I Met Your Mother and just now being one of the best versatile actors out there. Aaron Paul, there's a reason why his film career hasn't worked, but he's still getting roles because people just, they just love him from this role in the show. It's why El Camino was made several years after, is because we want a little bit more of the universe and want a little bit more of Jesse, another character who was very much talked about being killed off way early on and is, now still alive in the lore. So just I mean, just so many great moments. Well shot too. Fantastic directing, editing, cinematography too. It's the look of the show, the way an episode would begin, and you find out why you were shown what you were shown at the beginning. And I love this show, man. It's a show that after I started watching it, was like almost mad that I didn't watch it sooner because I was like, why have I been sleeping on this?
Okay. I have no qualms. We all agree.
We all like the show. It's in everyone's top 10.
You know, it's in the top 10 for everybody. But here's my number one. My number one.
Number one,
Mad Men.
Ah.
Don Draper, the coolest dog in the world. And when I say he was a dog, okay, there was no redeeming quality for Don Draper. He'd love you. He'd talk to you. He's very charismatic. He'd marry you, but then he'd screw the next thing that walked through that door. But yeah, I thought he was such a great, this is where I fell in love with John Hamm as an actor. You saw him in little bits here, maybe here and there, but this is what really
I don't think it did. Wasn't this like easily his breakout?
This was his big breakout role, but he was tiny. I think he was an SUV or one of those Law and Order episodes.
He drove an SUV?
I don't know all those episodes of those SUV homicides.
SVU.
Life on the Streets.
You flip up the letters.
Whatever it is. Yeah, I know. But yeah, and then you have Elizabeth Moss, who's now catching fire with Invisible Man, January Jones.
Vincent Kurtheiser.
January Jones.
Alison Brie.
Hold on, January Jones, who was in that Last Man in the world. Was she in Last Man?
Last Man on Earth.
On Earth. So yeah, she's doing great.
Christina Hendricks.
Shipka, Shipka, what's her name? The young girl who's now she's starring on Netflix's Sabrina. Shipka Kearney, I think her name is. But
what was she?
She was Don Draper's kid.
Oh,
yeah, she was and then of course you got to watch her grow from like 5, almost or 10 or 12 or something like that, because now she played such a very, I could understand why, but just a heinous child. He always saw her, he was like, oh, let her drown in a pool, but yeah, John. She drowned in a pool? No, I wanted her to, sometimes, but because that was the kind of nerve-wracking character she can be. But again, she had Don Draper and January Jones as a parent, because they were both not that great. One would give you an eating disorder while the other one just said, I like the boy better, and because that was how the world worked back then. So that to me, it was just a great show. Showed me behind the scenes, showed you what the world was before political correctness sat in. Sexual harassment was around every corner. People smoked and drank at 3 or 4 in the afternoon, maybe at 2 in the morning, or 8 in the morning or whatever. They just pour themselves a scotch and just think about life. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And it was just a different scene. It was just a different scene in my, that I've never saw. And I own most of the seasons, I believe. I think I have almost everything but the last season on DVD. So it's one of those shows that I, that I love. I don't know why I never got the last season. I don't know why. Maybe I cheaped out at the end, but I'll probably get it later. So that's my number one, Mad Men, another AMC classic. So what do you got there for us on the numero uno bid?
My favorite show of all time is probably The Dukes of Hazzard. I just love it.
That's that.
Yes.
That you could say.
Yeah.
You could say. Was that a comedy?
yes.
You sure?
What's so funny about it?
I'm thinking of the wrong show. There's nothing dramatic about it. What are you talking about, Boss Hog?
Dukes of
Oh, yeah, I
Hazzard.
guess Boss Hog was a little funny.
Everything's
Oh,
funny.
okay. It was a comedy
It was
series.
comedy.
Yeah, it was a comedy
all
series.
I'll have to redo my list a little bit. I did like the Breaking Bad. Let me bring up some points on the Breaking Bad. But that's not my number one.
Yeah, but you gotta have a number one. Give me a number
The
one.
Breaking Bad.
Knight Rider. You
I
like
did-
Knight Rider?
I did like Airwolf. There you go. Airwolf.
There you go. I
Or
knew
the
there was.
A-Team. Was that?
That's an '80s film. That was not a
Was it?
comedy. That was a
I
drama.
watched a lot of the A-Team. I don't know if it's number one.
Unless you watched it, my friend, don't you dare belittle
But
it.
I watched Breaking Bad was pretty wild. That was one of those ones. After it came out, I'm like, all right, everybody, and they were all stacked up on Netflix. So I hunkered down for about 2 or 3 weeks, and I literally felt like I was inside that damn show going through those episodes. It was great. I had a great time with it.
So your number one though, we're gonna give you.
I don't know.
Aaron, what was your favorite?
You could bump up Simon or Riptide, however you want to do that. If you're going to take away my Dukes of Hazzard.
Well, Dukes of Hazzard is a comedy, so it says it's an American comedy, my friend.
I have to.
My number one is Seinfeld. Boy, was that a show about nothing in an extreme way.
Well, Seinfeld.
I didn't know who was going to win the Master Domain. That was so dramatic, you know.
One will fall.
And we never found out until they were about to die in that plane. Remember?
Oh yeah.
You know, it was George who won it, but he lied.
Yeah.
You know.
I lied.
So there we go. We got our top 10 series of dramas.
Dramas.
But those were some of my childhood favorite
Yeah.
series, even though Dukes of Hazzard may be a comedy.
Yeah, I would say that's a comedy.
Let me
Maybe,
tell you
most certainly.
my Dukes of Hazzard story real fast, even though it's a comedy.
Yeah.
This was before DVR and all that stuff came out.
Of
or whatever.
course.
It came on at Friday at 8 p.m. when one and everybody. I had the TV at that time. You controlled that damn TV during it. But one time I fell asleep. Right, I must have fell asleep at 7:30 or whatever. And I woke back up at 9, right? And my mom was on the couch reading the paper behind me, like that's what everybody did. And I started yelling and screaming, and I cried.
Why
at
didn't
her.
you wake
She's
me
like,
up?
Why didn't you wake me up? It's my show. I was so pissed because, like, literally, right when I woke up, you could read the scrolls, and she let me miss the whole thing, man.
Yeah,
I'll never forget that. That was very tragic.
That's one kind of weird, sad thing about the new state of television is there's really no more that, like, I got to see it tonight because tonight's my last opportunity. Now it's like, I got on demand, I got Hulu, I got,
Or I could wait for like 90
digital
days
later,
before that
you know,
episode
yeah.
shows up
So like, there's
somewhere.
no more like demand now of like, I got to see this, my show, I missed my show. Like, you never have that anymore.
Yeah, I know, and that's what and I kind of hate that time. I like that. I know it's crazy, for young people to actually hear this, but there was a great time where I wasn't ruled by. I was only ruled by the television between the hours of 8 to 11, and if I missed it, I had to wait until summer to watch that one episode, and sometimes they never showed that episode. Because it was sometimes a controversial episode, and we can't show that ever again. How would you ever watch it again? You never see it sometimes ever.
Did you ever spend a lot of time watching MTV?
No, I did watch videos, but not for television.
I had a moment I was obsessed with MTV and TRL. I'd watch every day that top 10.
Really,
Yeah, every day.
but I did love
Carson
videos.
Daly, yeah, man.
I like
I'd write it down in notebooks. I'd
pop
make my
up
own
video.
top 10.
Pop up video on VH1. I
pop
love
video.
that. And I just love all those little bloop, 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 and it made me enjoy it. Little facts and figures. I'm a facts and figures kind of guy. I like to watch all that type of stuff. So it's kind of documentary of the while you're watching the video of Like a Virgin. Another good one.
Find out about all those one-hit wonders.
Yeah, well, they had the band getting back together. The bands, remember, they had to sign the album cover for a little bit. So I know we're off track and we got news and notes, but I got to tell you, I don't mind having a brief discussion about greatness. I just wanted you to be aware that.
What was the very first reality show on MTV? What was that one?
Real World, probably.
The Real World.
The Real World,
Yeah, Salon, yeah.
Yeah, Puck. Yeah, he was the first American evil, and well, the man picked his nose and and did a lot of crappy shit, to be honest with you. Made fun of, what's his name, Angel, right? Was his that who died of AIDS later on. It was a bad day for everybody to watch that. So I hate to be a killjoy, but it's now time for my favorite part of the show. And it's my greedy portion of the show that I just can't wait, because I get to hear the golden pipes of Jordan Owens tell me about my news and notable stuff.
Well, for the last
News and
time,
notable
maybe here in a
stuff,
while,
stuff,
let's
stuff.
talk some box office.
News and notable stuff.
The box office on March 13th through the 15th. Number 5 was The Hunt, made its debut with $5 million. Number 4, The Invisible Man, in its third week made another $5 million, bringing that to $64 million.
Woo!
Number 3, I Still Believe, debuted with $9 million. Number 2, Bloodshot, debuted with $9 million. And number 1 is Onward in its second week, making an extra $10 million, bringing that to $60 million. Next week, there's no top 5.
Well, talk about Onward. Onward, the number 1 film, is actually now available to watch.
You can check out Onward right now. I'm talking a
On
little bit
demand.
more because Regal, AMC, Cinemark, amongst others, out here at Alamo Draft House, they're
All of
closed,
them.
baby.
All theaters. Done.
They're shut down. They're closed. Did the town center follow
They
suit?
finally followed suit.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's happening, man. One of our smaller theaters tried hanging out another few days, but
Well, as soon as they cut it from 50 people, they said,
oh, okay, no point.
yeah, there's no point. There's 10 people per film. Yeah.
Unfortunately, this affects a lot of stuff. More movies have been pushed back. Black Widow, Personal History of David Copperfield, A Quiet Place 2, Lovebirds, Mulan, New Mutants again, Antlers, Spiral from Saw. All pushed back, all to be determined. They haven't even given them new dates because who knows how long it's gonna take. 007 No Time to Die is right now scheduled for November. Let's see if that lasts. Fast and Furious 9, they said April of next year, 2021. We're not gonna get John Cena and Dom together anytime soon.
Can I give you one more?
What you got?
Wonder
what you got?
Woman 1984.
Yeah.
They don't know if they want to push it back to August or maybe release it on VOD right away.
Oh, are they thinking about that too?
They're thinking of maybe just jumping the shark and going in it, but then they're thinking, well, it made $1 billion. We can't really just jump at do it that way because we can't make $1 billion unless we probably spend about $60 per viewing. But if it's for $60, you'd better give me a 60-day rental because I would not pay 60. 20 is still steep, but I would probably pay 20 to watch it. You and I could get together and watch it.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'll come in and give you a few
All
bucks,
three of us
or
can watch it
you
as a
come in and
team.
give me a few bucks, whatever works.
But yeah, for 20, I'd do it. But yeah, I don't think it would make billions, but it'd make its money back. I guarantee. Is that
And I would say it would be smart to try to be the first. You know what I mean? Before everyone's doing it these next few months, try to be the first out there for like new releases. Speaking of some new releases, stuff that is in theaters, but didn't get much of a chance. The Hunt, Invisible Man, Bloodshot, Trolls World Tour. They're all going to demand, if not on demand.
Well,
by the time you see
Trolls
this.
is basically not even out, so this is their debut.
Yeah, they're going to debut on demand. Birds of Prey and The Gentleman are also getting early releases too. They bumped those up a little bit.
The Way Back.
The Way Back, Ben Affleck, you mentioned to me before. I didn't even think about this till recently. TV shows obviously have been affected because they're not all of them were done filming.
No.
Supernatural, its final season whatever, 16, 15.
Yeah, the last episode they stopped.
They didn't finish. They're about an episode and a half not done, I think I read. Empire with Terrence Howard didn't finish their finale.
Last Man Standing.
Oh, who gives a shit?
I'm just saying.
I'm just playing. I hate that show.
No, not me.
But
either,
yeah,
I'm just
okay.
saying, there's a lot of them that are having.
Superstore, we announced last week or the week before, America Ferrera are leaving. They didn't get that far. So luckily she's already said, like, hey, I'm willing to finish my shit up when I have time. So, but it's just kind of interesting that the season might end and it's going to end with her just being a cast member. And some good news. Finally. I didn't even mention this too. I forgot to write this down too, but also several films shooting has been delayed. So who knows if those release dates are going to get all thrown off now because
even
they're going to be weeks, if not months behind on shooting.
Falcon Winter Soldier. That one
TV show got delayed.
That one got delayed because they were shooting in Prague. They had to shut that down. A lot of
Obviously, whatever Tom Hanks was doing.
Mandalorian shut down. Boom, done. So
Baby Yoda was not feeling so good.
Witcher gone for a while. It was supposed to come out. Both of these were supposed to come out at the end of the year, but Witcher is gone for right now from shooting. So we got a lot of flux going on. Oh, Stranger Things canceled their shooting of their next season. So we'll probably see these kids who already look like adults actually be adults. They're only 16, but God knows they're going to probably be 19 when they start shooting again. We don't know how long this is going to last, but so far we're seeing a lot of things being put on hold. And the only good thing, new season Harley Quinn on DC Network coming out April 3rd, season 2.
Stole my next bit.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, I was about to say I have a news piece for me, a news piece for you, and a news piece for no one. The news piece for me was the directors of Ready or Not that we both enjoyed.
Yes,
saying they're interested in doing and they're attached to direct Scream 5. They're going to come to Scream franchise. So, hey, man, if you want to mix horror and comedy,
I'm not gonna knock it.
that's not a bad pitch.
Yeah, I know it's not, but I did love Ready or Not. So
that's why I said that one's for me. The Harley Quinn is for you.
Thank you.
We're only a couple weeks away from April 3rd's premiere of season 2, so that's cool.
I'm gonna have to re-up my subscription. I let it lapse because I didn't think anything was coming
And
out.
I have my brother's password.
Good show.
And now the news piece for neither one of us, unless I'm mistaken. Jesse Eisenberg said he would love to return as Lex Luthor.
I didn't like him.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay.
little bit for you.
He tried something, but
Can we bring John Cryer in? I like his Lex Luthor.
Why not, man?
I like
At this point, I mean, you had Ezra Miller, right, on TV, so.
Yeah, but they're starting to say that's a multiverse, which I don't think you can have a there's a lot of weird shit. going
Here's one for me, and I don't know if anyone joins me in on this, but the first clip of the reboot of Reno 911 was released. It's the entire original cast, even though I'm pretty sure they killed a couple of them in the last season because they left to do other shows and whatnot. But everyone's back from the original season, as well as I believe people that were added in the last season. But it's just fun seeing them back together. That's on Quibi, which, if you don't know, is 10 minutes or less episodes. These are not full-length episodes. They're 10 minutes or less. They do have all sorts of genres on here. I saw one that's like a horror or like a thriller genre. So we'll see. Well, let's go the way of oh man, what was it called?
Wow, can I just tell you something good?
Tout. I was thinking Tout was what I was thinking of. Tell me.
You very rare hear some good things. You hear some things come out.
Quibi April 6th. Go.
Like Zion Williams paying for people. He's a basketball player. Paying for everyone who worked in the Pelican Stadium, paying their salaries, and everyone's put away.
I don't know if you heard John
Netflix.
Moxley.
Yeah, John's done the same.
Supposedly committed to a charity for pro wrestlers.
Netflix came out. They established $100 million coronavirus relief fund in which they will be giving these out to help support the people in the industry who have lost their jobs due to the slowdown right now. So they will be able to provide for their families during this time. Kevin Love did the same thing. That he's in the Cleveland Cavaliers organization, giving them his own money toward workers. Things like this is something that we should be highlighting more of, but we don't see a lot of. Major League Baseball put $30 million together. It's $1 million per team, which I think they could go a little higher, guys. But I'm not going to knock it. But that $30 million goes to those stadium workers who are also losing their job because the 26th was opening day. That's been pushed to May now. So there's a lot of good that is coming out of this. A lot of bad because of as us as fans are not being satiated enough with sports, with entertainment. But again, there's enough on TV not to let us get bored. A lot of things like that, but. And again, that was just the cough because my throat is dry. Don't get nervous.
Shoot him, Dizzle. Shoot him in the head.
I'm sorry, Yeller. I'm sorry. But yeah, so
Look at the flowers, Dutch.
What else?
Look at the flowers.
Those are pretty flowers. Anyway. What else you got for me? I'm sorry. I just wanted to share a little bit of good news.
No, yeah, share some good ones. I got some great news, and that's some Razzie winners. The Razzies happened recently. The Razzie Redeemer went to Eddie Murphy, giving him credit for Dolomite Is My Name. So that's the Redeemer award.
Oh, okay.
Redeemer.
It's a good one.
For the past shit that he's done, like Meet Dave
did Cats
and
win
Norbit.
any?
Oh, boy, did the Cats sweep to the mother-loving thing.
Oh. They were the Cats Meow at the Razzies.
Other winners included Worst Remake and Sequel went to Rambo Last Blood. I don't know about worst, but definitely not great.
It was close to being worse.
John Travolta won Best Actor in Fanatic. Hilary Duff won Actress in The Haunting of Sharon Tate. And then Cats, baby. Cats. Director, Tom Hooper. Supporting actors went to James Corden and Rebel Wilson, respectively. And then, of course, Worst Picture went to Meow Cats. And then one other things as well. I just kind of boiled it down a little bit there.
I want to see that just so I can see it.
You should. It will bore you. It will astound you. It will make you question things, and it will bore you again.
You may want to be inebriated or something just to maybe pass the time. I don't know, but
I don't know. It might make you feel worse.
there's a movie that's coming out on as well.
Called Dogs.
It's called Self-Made. It's with Octavia Spencer. It's about Madam C.J. Walker, who is one of the first.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Oh.
It's coming out. She's a very pioneering entrepreneur, philanthropist. So watch it. It's a great movie coming out. Octavia Spencer, I love to watch. I think she's a great actress.
Absolutely,
I
love her.
You know what though? Speaking of Octavia Spencer, it comes to a story that came to mind just now. She was actually on board to do a Murder, She Wrote remake. And I was like, okay, cool, I can handle this. And it was Angela Lansbury who sunk that whole thing, saying, how dare you put her in that role? And I was like, well, that's the one. Number, to me, it seemed a little racist, but at the same time, how dare you say she can't be, and whatever the lady was what was her name? What was her name in that show? But anyway, I how dare you, Angela Lansbury, come up and say she cannot be Jessica Fletcher.
Did anyone ask her to expound on that?
They never did. She just said, well, I think I did the perfect role and it should never be done again.
Okay, well, then that's ignorant on a different level. Okay,
But it's
not
ignorant.
racist.
I think it was. I think if it would have
Maybe,
been a
I
white person, she would have said, "Oh, I love it." You know what I'm saying?
Hillary Duff.
Yeah, Hillary. Ooh, she's a winner. I tell you, a winner. But yeah, I just think that that was a great chance. That could have been a good show. Even Octavia was.
Yeah,
actually her.
you know what? I'm not interested in it until you said Octavia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And-
Murder She Wrote. Octavia Spencer, Murder She Wrote.
And I thought, to me, and it hurt her feelings when she found out that she's the one who sunk the show, and NBC was going to.
Don't make me party alone.
I think it was NBC who was going to do it. So, or CBS, one of those shows.
Well, Dutch, let me do as I always do every week. Let me list the upcoming movies at the theaters on the 20th. All right, that's the show.
That's it. That's it. Well, you heard it here first. That movie is
It's
being
called
released.
the Dutch and Jo movie. We'll be, if you pay us enough, we'll dance in front of the theater.
Yeah.
Give me an old school movie that you guys have watched lately that you've reconnected with. Like I watched Sideways. Have you guys dug up?
I might have said this on the last show. The last old movie I watched was Stand By Me, and I enjoyed the hell out of that movie. Still, what else have you watched anything?
Well, I'm trying to think if you're talking old school.
Talking 90s, man. I'm talking 90s for you.
No, like I said, the last thing I saw that's old school that I quite enjoyed was Plane, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah.
It's a relatively new, old one that I saw.
Yeah, 90s, so you're good. No, it's a great film. I think that's what we should do now is just maybe do Deja Vu. Can we do that now? There's no excuse
Vu.
that we're all busy. We're all down in quarantine now, you sons of bitches. We're all in quarantine unless we have
Quarantine View.
That's what we'll call it, quarantine and viewing. And that's what we'll do. We'll change Deja Vu to Quarantine and View for right now. And we'll pick we'll just pick an old movie. Our choice. I'm not going to tell you what month to pick. I'm just saying, can you pick at least a 20-year-old film? A 20-year-old movie. So it could be 2000. I'm trying to help you, Jordan, because I know you don't.
Yeah.
I know
I
you.
guess that's not that bad.
I know you don't like.
Sorry.
I know you don't like black and whites, but can you find something that looks good from a genre that's over 20 years old? Can you do that?
Renaissance Man.
There you go. Watch that again. But anyway, with that, so we might have that as a new thing, Quarantine and View.
New old no quarantine review.
Yeah, Quarantine and Review. And then we have a few other VODs that we got in the bag. So stay with us, be patient, and we'll try to entertain you as best we can.
Stay safe, stay smart, stay sane.
Wash
we love
those
you.
hands, you some bitches.
Later on.
Take care. I'm Dutch
It's
McAllister.
the hardest thing I'll ever have to do.
I'm Dutch
To walk
McAllister.
around
That-
and
the man in the vocals,
pretending I don't
That's Jordan
love
Owens.
you.
And the guy on the switch.
We will meet
As
again.
always, Mr. B. Disney.
Faith has
Have
a
great
place
evening.
and time, so you can get on with your life. Got to be cruel to be kind.
Cruel to be kind in the right measure. Cruel to be kind is a very good
You
time.
take the good, you take the bad, and then you get the family ties. The family ties.
It's the world you cannot see. Something, believe in the
Moving
family
on up,
ties.
moving on up.
be.
The family ties to a deluxe apartment.
Here we are,
Family ties.
face to face, a couple of family ties.
Step by step, day by day, family ties in every way.